What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Jeffish. My name's Jeff. Let's talk about fish. Now, recently, friends, family, loved ones have all told me the same thing. Jeff, you can't build more enclosures. There's no room. If you had a wider angle here, you'd see they're right. There's no more room in this fish room. So, we're getting a new tank. Anyway, I don't care. We're getting a new tank. Because I've noticed a small flaw in the desk that I have in the middle of the room, in that it's not an enclosure. I don't have a problem. So, without further ado, let's get this guy out of here and let's build a new desk that also functions as a fully functional bearded dragon enclosure. That's right, we're finally getting a beardy. So, I'm excited. Let's get to it.
So after a quick trip to the hardware store, came back with these nails, got a couple of these 4-foot 2x4s, and I got this wooden panel. It's pretty cheap. It's made for floors, basically. This is gonna be our walls. And I got some 18x24 clear glass that's gonna be used for the front sliding door. But when I sat down to cut these guys, I realized I don't own a saw. Alright, now that I have the proper tools, first thing was to sit down and cut 4 of these 2x4s in half, making them 2 foot each. And with a handsaw, that turned out to be a fair amount of work. But when it was all done, it was time to move this old table out the way and get started. I used some wood glue to attach all that wood together. As you can see, I cut it in this diagonal sort of fashion to make a top lip that's gonna be like a ring around the top of the table. And this is what that looks like. Using the 2x4s that I cut earlier, I attached some of the plywood to that using the drywall nails that I bought to make the sidewalls. And then I connected all of that with wood glue. Eventually, I found the big boy saw. I don't know who let me use it, but after almost no injuries, I was able to cut a bottom frame much easier and much quicker than before. I used wood glue to connect that as well. And I let all that sit overnight, and then I took the weights off, or the beams off. Same thing. When it was all good, I grabbed one of the plywood sheets to make the floor, and I connected that to the bottom using wood glue. Now, this piece here is like a rail sort of thing that they sell for trellises. Trellises. That's gonna be the track for our sliding glass door. Again, we're gonna be using some wood glue to connect that, but since it's on the side, not the top, I can't use beams to weight it down, so I use some clamps. Now I got this big piece of acrylic here that's gonna be the top to our table. I'm not quite sure if I'm gonna attach it or not yet. It's kind of thin, but I'm hoping the weight might just hold it. That way I can take it off if I want, but I really like the idea of having a clear top. Originally, I was gonna go with some thick glass, but that is very expensive. So worst case, I can just silicone this later, but I really like it. Hey, look at that. It actually looks like a table. Now it's time for our sexy painting montage. I decided to go with eggshell. Always be sure to check if any paints or chemicals you're using are reptile safe before you use them on your enclosure. I'm gonna use this Great Stuff foam to cover up the cracks all around the bottom. I did not measure perfectly, so there are some cracks, and this is gonna help us waterproof it here in a second. And I also cut the holes for the lights. It's just standard light bulb holders here, nothing crazy. And this dry lock stuff here is a type of pond sealant. So this is like a waterproof epoxy that's gonna make this whole bottom waterproof. Because this is a bioactive enclosure, not to mention that the bearded dragon's gonna be peeing and knocking over his water bottle. So we don't want this to get moldy or any water to go through to the bottom. But because this is a pretty dry environment, this isn't like a super humid vivarium, we're not gonna be worried about doing the sides. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Stay tuned for next week where we're going to decorate the inside and we're going to finally get a bearded dragon in there. All right, guys. Take care. I'll see y'all next week. Peace.